There are a lot of people who are really stressed out about falling birth rates, particularly in the US, but also worldwide. That many people feel like this is a huge deal. It is the number one problem that as a society we are facing right now. But unfortunately, I've noticed that left out of the rhetoric of trying to raise the birth rates is what I think might be the most effective way to help more couples and more women feel like not only could they have kids and could they be a good mom, but that they actually want to. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. But first, I'm Cameron. I'm a couples therapist, a wife, and a mother. And I actually have two under two babies right now. So we are adjusting to a lot of new babiness in our life. And those experiences, while I've been raising our new tiny baby and watching him interact with his, well, he doesn't do a lot of interacting, but watching his older brother, who's a toddler right now, interact with his new baby brother has made me realize that the reason that children are so uniquely wonderful and what they add to the world is not just another body that can carry on the human race into the next generation. That when we talk about birth rates and we talk about people having children or not having children, it's about a lot more than just a number for replacement purposes. It's about joy. That if we can express the joy that children bring through how we treat our kids, how we move and exist in the world, how people see us interact with our family and hear us talk about them, what is a better testament to why more people should have kids than if they see how joyful you are with your kids? I want to share a really great quote on this from Mother Teresa, and that is, "Joy is a net of love by which you can catch souls." And the reason that I started thinking about this is I'm trying to think more intentionally about how to raise our children in the Catholic faith right now. My husband and I are Catholics. We love Jesus, try to love him better every day, and we want to raise our kids Catholic. And so I was trying to figure out the best way to approach teaching young children to love Jesus and how you can introduce them to the faith and everything that comes with it, because religion is complicated and it's the most important thing that we can ever do is have a good relationship with God, but it can feel really overwhelming to introduce that to a 2-year-old. So what came to me, I believe the Spirit kind of nudged me a little bit one day when I was in adoration and said, the more joyful you can be about Jesus, the more you can talk about him in a joyful way and have sort of an infectious energy when you are walking in your faith, the more that's going to get passed on to your kids. And so more than teaching scripture, which is really important, but more than any of the theology that you can pass on to children, if you can pass on that joy that comes from the love of Christ and him loving you and you loving him back, that's most important. That's what's going to anchor people. And so as I was thinking about this, it dawned on me that that's how we can help people be more comfortable with the idea of becoming parents, is if instead of talking about just how hard it is and how exhausted you are and how you have to give up so much and your whole life changes and your body changes and pregnancy is hard and morning sickness and raising infants and all of the hard things, which are true. Yeah, they're all hard. I'm not going to pretend like it's a cakewalk. I think it's hard in a good way, though. If we can talk about all of the good stuff, that you look at your baby and every time you see your baby, you think, I made that baby. I helped create that life. I created, or I am, the home that God used to create that baby. That's incredible. That you watch your kids grow, and especially if you're breastfeeding, to think that that baby's alive because of you, that God chose you to be the reason that your baby gets to grow to maturity, God willing, and live this incredible, independent, uniquely valuable life. That's just, there's so much about raising kids that if we can share that joy with other people, we don't even have to talk about it. You just walk around in the world with your kids and you're happy, you're smiling. Even if your kids are being a little bit misbehaved, you can laugh it off a little bit. You're still disciplining them, still making sure that they're not being crazy and not having any consequences. But if you can maintain a sense of inner peace, rooted in, at least for me, is rooted in my relationship with Christ, that I try to return to that place of inner peace every time I step out of it. Every time I feel frantic, I try to come back as quickly as I can. From that place of inner peace, you can radiate joy, and you can smile at people, and you can let people touch your baby, and let people high five your toddler, or you can laugh when your toddler says morning to every person you pass on walks. That is a very personal experience of mine. And the more that we allow our kids to be out in the world and allow people to experience them, and the more we allow people to experience us as joyful women, joyful mothers and wives, I don't know if there's a better way to make people think that what we're doing is actually a good idea. And obviously, the caveat being not everyone wants to be a mom, and really some women, are not made for that, and that's okay. There are plenty of women who go into religious orders and, choose not to have children, or they do something out in the world that means they won't have kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all very different. We're all very unique, and only God knows what we're truly supposed to do, and then helps us figure that out for ourselves. But for all of the women who think maybe they would want to be a mom, but it seems really hard, that's where we need to bring more joy into how we talk about our families. That's where we need to dote on our husbands, and rather than complaining about them, lifting them up and talking about the joys of marriage and the blessings that come with becoming a mother at every phase of life. So that's all I have for you guys today. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and also leave a comment on what you thought of the video and any other topics that you want to hear about related to faith, marriage, and parenting. And until next time, I'm Cameron, and thanks for watching.